We are live. Welcome to Can We Talk? My name is Deidre Moss, and I am your host. I'm an educator, motivator, and a talk connoisseur. We celebrated an important holiday this week. So very important, Valentine's Day. And today we are gathered here to talk about infidelity. I'm joined by my expert panel who will help us to dissect this topic. So we're going to have some more persons joining in with us today, but we would like to get started. Okay, we live busy lives, people coming from work. So we're here now. We're going to get started with what we have, but just want to alert you that our panel is going to grow. So at this time, I would like to pass the virtual mic to our guests so that they can introduce themselves.
Good evening out there on Facebook and around the world. I go by Mr. Keys. I am an office administrator by day, a musician by love, a philanthropist at heart, and so many other things in between. It's so good to be here. I must say, while Madam Host did so well in saying that it's an expert panel, I'm just simply here to throw my 2 cents on, but a day one supporter of the program, a long time fan, and I guess a first timer on this end of the screen rather than on the other side. But it is so good to be here just to chime in on this timely but a hot topic.
Thank you so much, Mr. Keys. And yes, I would say you're an expert. You've lived the life, you've lived the experience. Okay. So before we begin, thank you for that introduction. Before we begin, if you're tuning in from our social media page and you just joined us, like and share this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel using the links that are provided on our page. We need your support to continue these talks. Also, if there's something that you think we should be talking about, feel free to let us know. We want to hear from you. Let us know if you would like to advertise on our platform or sponsor our program. We want to grow, and we want you to grow with us. So with that, let's get into our talk. So I see someone else is joining us, and so we'll get his introduction when he joins us. But can we talk infidelity? And he coming in with the music. He coming in hot. He coming in hot already. Welcome, Basil. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. Literally just got off.
Okay, so we'll give you a minute to get yourself adjusted. And so we're going to get started. I'll give you a minute. When you're ready, you can let me know.
Okay. I mean, I'm ready. I'll just mute it if any noise in the background.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so let's get started with our topic. Can we talk infidelity? And so we want to, what is your view? What is your view of infidelity? How would you define infidelity, Mr. Keys?
Infidelity, is typically dubbed as, the straying away from one's relationship, I guess drifting apart, stepping out as what it was, sometimes known as. It was interesting as I was thinking about it, it dawned on me on something that I shared on my own social media platform from almost a decade back. And I stated that infidelity is an epidemic caused by massive progression with another while drifting away from your significant other. Not knowing that at the time, I was just randomly thinking to myself, at the time I was living abroad. So, a lot of things was happening in the culture over there where, open relationships was being accepted and, like how it is now, hookup culture by any means. And so I guess you could say it's not just limited to any one area, but I guess in recent years, since we've faced a global pandemic, we can now say that infidelity, or I guess as the Bahamians, we call it sweethearting, is now a global pandemic of sorts.
Okay, so we'll continue that. We'll continue along that lines, but we want to bring in Basil. Basil, can you introduce yourself? Just a brief introduction.
I'm Basil. I do a lot of things to the world, but I've been in many relationships, long-term relationships, 5 years, 7 years, all of that line. Entertainer, performer, yes. This goes on.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. How do you define infidelity, Basil?
Well, I define it basically what Keys was saying, like just stepping out, having outside relationships where you're not really focused on what you have, but you're still there. You know, you're still in that relationship, but you're still having like this other relationship, and it's under the radar, pretty much. You know, sweethearting. But I feel like sweethearting is like more open these days, as opposed to you saying you're having an affair. Usually when people have an affair, that's something no one really gonna know about at the time, you know? But yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think our full panel is here. I see we are connecting with Miss Katura. So as soon as she comes in, I'll let her introduce herself. But we're going to continue along those lines as we identify, how do we define infidelity? And I think both of you mentioned that it's stepping outside of your relationship, and the common word, or I guess vernacular, that we use is sweethearting. That's the term that we use, sweethearts. And Sweetheart Day. When was Sweetheart Day? The day after Valentine's Day, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Sweethearts Day, National Side Chicks Day, whatever you want to dub it as, is always the day after. So February 15th would have been that, I guess, highlight day for them.
Awesome. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, so we're going to talk about, being unfaithful. We're going to talk about being unfaithful. I don't know if you want to, James, if you want to connect with Katura, because she's still trying to connect. I think maybe she's trying to figure out how to connect with our audio. So I don't know if you want to message her and render her some assistance while I jump to you, Basil. Basil, have you ever been unfaithful? Or had someone be unfaithful to you? And how did you react?
I could say it has happened both ways. I remember my first relationship, I was in school, and I started dating this girl in my class, and come to find out, friends telling me, oh, she have a boyfriend 2 grades higher than us. A grade higher than us. And I'm like, for real? And I end up approaching the guy, asking him about it, then approaching her about it. And, I just broke up with her. It happened. It has happened for me too, but that's like relationships where, I don't know, I feel like for guys, we don't have the nature to just end relationships. And we end up just, if we don't find happiness in that spot, we just find some relief while we try to work things out. Sometimes people get lost in that, where they get so caught up in what finding the relief, they forget the men what they're supposed to be mending. But I learned a lot of tough lessons just making those mistakes in the past, and I learned different ways to cope and address. If I feel in some way in a relationship, talk about it, find a solution. I know they say communication is key, but sometimes it's more than just saying words. It's more about saying the right thing, saying what needs to be said, like being open and honest, how you feel. Like you might not be happy about your sex life, you have to talk about it. You might not be happy about just any little thing, but you take the time to talk about it. It can be hard conversations, but I find that when you have those conversations, you could actually move forward. If you have to go in an open relationship, you could actually do that. If you could give a good reason for it. It's just different. There's different ways to stick to your commitment with a person without betraying their trust or betraying your relationship.
Thank you. James, would you like to add to that question? I don't know if you, because I know you were working on something, but have you ever been unfaithful or had someone being unfaithful to you? And how did you react to that?
I can say it's been a little bit of both ways. In terms of me being unfaithful, I wouldn't say it's unfaithful as in I had someone on the side, but I've been guilty of leading one or two hearts on, or as it's been dubbed, playing the field when you know clearly they were expecting something more. And in that instance, I would say, just ensure that there's clarity in everything before, when you're establishing any kind of relationship. Ensure there's clarity, ensure there is no room for any kind of ambiguity, and most importantly, establish those boundaries. Like I made mention earlier, right? Infidelity is an epidemic or pandemic caused when there is, this massive connection with another while you're drifting away from your significant other. Meaning that, okay, the absence of boundaries causes it to where you can become close with somebody while still strongly drifting apart from that person that you're with. Vice versa, I've been hurt quite a few times. I'll give an example. Late teens, I was off to school. I was with a younger lady. She was here. I had a lot of good friends trying to tell me like, bro, she ain't holding it down. You there trying to study and be good, and I know you trying to stay faithful, but she ain't. And I wasn't believing it. And it wasn't until I came home during one of my breaks, and me and the boys was out on the road, and we saw on the road, and that was it. And even in that instance, I just had to, walk away from it. For me, it wasn't hurt. It wasn't worth the hurt or the turmoil of trying to, make a big scene. So I just kind of just walked away and left it alone. She reached out to me and I just sent her a polite note like that was that. And that's all came to it.
Okay, thank you, James, Mr. Keys, for being so candid with your experience. So I want to jump to Katura. She would have just joined us. Katura, I don't know if you're able to introduce yourself and let us know how you define infidelity.
Hi, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Forgive me for not navigating my camera. I'm navigating the busy streets of Nassau. This is not fun. This is nothing romantic or lovable about this within this week of love. So hi, everybody. Can you hear me well enough? I don't know. Okay, great.
Yes,
All right. So infidelity is definitely a hot topic. And when you think about the terminology that has to do with infidelity, it implies that there was unfaithfulness. There obviously was some kind of hurt that was levied on either party. And it leads to the point of needing to be clear or express clarity or be truthful with your thoughts and feelings. And I do say from what I've heard so far, it takes a level of maturity to be able to be upfront and honest about your thoughts and feelings, because some of us are still trying to figure out our own selves. And then we're involving ourselves with others and we don't know, like, for example, what kind of background they came from, what kind of ideology they have in terms of what makes a strong, faithful relationship. You have to know if you're looking for a faithful relationship, like, straight off the bat. Hey, are you just looking to have fun? Are you looking for an activities partner? Are you looking for your soulmate? Are you trying to match this up to see if this is hubby or if this is wifey? Like, it's important to have those kinds of conversations so that infidelity does not become an issue. Infidelity even delves into sometimes you may be in a relationship with somebody, like you coupled up, you booed up, you're thinking, okay, this is my rock, this is my person. And then you might, quote unquote, for lack of a better term, catch feelings for somebody else because of the way they communicate with you, the way they treat you, the way they make you feel like the king or queen that you are. And then infidelity steps in simply because you kind of was lacking a little something that wasn't already there. And you didn't have that idea of commitment and not moving on. So it's like, define what you want or what you need. Be clear, be open, be honest with someone who you're pursuing or being pursued by, or maybe hanging with or hooking up with or whatever. You just have to be honest about what you're looking for. Look internally at what you need right here, right now, in this space and in this time. And like for me, straight up at my age and my level of maturity, I'm not looking for a boo thing. I'm not looking for a boyfriend. I'm like, brother, I don't need a boyfriend. I need a man. I am single and I am woman. So this woman is not looking for some dude to just step up and look for some playtime. Listen, the playground is over, honey. If I'm going to spend any kind of quality time with you, trust me, I sizing you up to see if the Most High sent you to be my king. And if that's not your goal, your vision, your dream, then I categorize you as either eye candy or friend with a capital FRIEND. I pause right there and wait for commentary because I know I done ruffle a couple feathers. And I love y'all, even if y'all don't like me no more. But let's be honest and open with our thoughts and feelings, people, so infidelity doesn't become an issue.
I'm going to jump to the panel, but I just wanted to highlight, I like the fact that you mentioned that you lay all of your cards out on the table so that the other person knows exactly what you're dealing with. And then you expect for them to give you and let you know or inform you of what they want or what they expect in a relationship to avoid getting in those conflicts and avoid putting yourself in a position to get cheated on or vice versa. So I like that you said that.
Well, thank you much. I realize the heart is not a playground. The
Mm,
heart is that place where you lock in spaces for people that mean something to you.
yes.
So, you know, even and when you talk about love in general, I mean, you love your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your cousin, your auntie. But when you're talking about that intimate love that makes you want hugs and kisses, man, you digging deep into heart tissue. You don't
Yeah.
use it as the playground. That's for kids. Ain't no monkey bars here in my heart, baby. Mm-mm. There's some good loving waiting for the right situation. Someone say hallelujah.
I love it. So I want to hear from the guys. Any guys, what are your interjection? I'll go to Basil first and then come to you, Mr. Keys.
All right, I'm all set up now. Sorry. So I agree with you say it does take a certain level of maturity. As I got older, I did realize that so much things that I did not understand about relationships, people, you know, yeah, you could want certain things, but you have to think about how it affects other people. You know, you can get what you want, but you have to go about it the right way. You know, and a lot of times I went around getting what I wanted the wrong way, you know, and it really took my current relationship to really swallow those fears. You know, that feeling you get in the pit of your stomach when you want to talk with something, but you know you're going to get rejected for it or told like, no, you can't have that. But then if you just have to have those talks, and when you have those talks, it takes a weight off your shoulder. It doesn't make you feel like, oh, I'm the only one going through this feeling. I'm the only one who understands me, you know, because a lot of times we go through life thinking no one could understand how we thinking, no one could understand what it is we're gonna actually what we really want in life, you know? And it's like we're all humans. We all have needs, we all have wants. All living things have the same basic needs and wants and stuff like that. You know, we want to feel good, we want to be happy, we want someone to appreciate us. You know, we want someone to be honest with us and not judge us for anything that we want or think or say, you know. And it's still a journey. Because some things, even to this point, I have things that I still might be like, I don't think I ready to talk about that or tackle that situation just yet, you know. But I have come a long way from when I was married to now, you know, going through divorce, breakups, being used, even situation where I felt like I was using someone and I had to break it off. I'm like, I had to tell them like, I can't do this type of relationship because I'm not attracted in that way. Even if you want to be with me, it doesn't feel right for me to use you in that way, you know. And yeah, they wasn't too happy about it, but it was for the better, you know. It saved both of us a lot of hurt in the end, you know, where we could be cordial now and everything is fine, you know.
Thank you so much for your input. As we'll come back to you and jump to Mr. Keys.
I'll say this just to piggyback off my fellow panelists. Both of them hit the nail right on the head, and it comes back to this. Before you can pour into another, you've got to know yourself first, right? Shakespeare, I think, says it best where he says, to thine own self be true. So you got to be true to who you are. You got to know yourself, know your standards. To piggyback off, you know, what Sanctified Lady Soul was saying, or, you know, like, bro, and like what, you know, what even Bro Man was saying. You know, when you know yourself and you know your standards and what you stand for and what you into and what you're not into, yes, it saves you the hurt, the headache, the heartache, and all of the above, man. Trust me, I've been in situations where, you know, I've been with folks and, you know, we were riding good. And for whatever reason, it just wasn't clicking. Not because, you know, I was a bad guy or I wasn't a good guy. I was just not the guy. And so as a result, you know, you have to be true to yourself in understanding that just because things didn't go right, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person for it. You just weren't the right person at that particular time for that somebody. But there is a right person for you to love the way you should love. And in knowing yourself, you will know how to love, number one, and most importantly, how you want to be loved. You know, there's the 5 love languages, and so, you know, Deidre's love language may be different from Basil's love language. Katura's love language may be different from my love language, but you wouldn't know that unless you do that self-check first before you go out there and say, let me pour into others. And once you know who you are and whose you are, and you have a sense of fulfillment and purpose within yourself, it'll make loving others so much easier because you're at that place of self-love and self-care with your self-standards all in check, that all you can do is just pour out and spread the love.
Thank you. And so I want us to get to another point. Thank you for sharing on that point. And I want us to jump to another point of we live in the Bahamas. I want us to look at our culture. We use the colloquial term sweethearting that's used in our culture. And I want us to think about our culture, and I want us to think about whether we have a culture that is accepting of infidelity, and or do we have a culture that it's okay to exist in the realm of knowing that I'm a side chick, so what? I'm a sweetheart, so what? You know, whatever the case may be. Do we have a prevailing culture of infidelity? So I'll jump around the room. I'll start with ladies first, Ms. Katora, and then go back around in the same order. Thank you, guys.
Ooh, wow, tell her to take a deep breath on that one, sis, because, you know, I personally don't want to be accepting of the fact that infidelity is a norm in the Bahamas. But the truth is, it is what it is. But I've decided it's not what I want. It's not what I would perpetrate on purpose. And let me say it like this. Sometimes you meet persons, and in their untruth, you don't know that they're not as single and ready to mingle as you are. And then you find out, oh, wait, this is somebody's husband, or this is someone's significant other. And he's trying to make me the potato salad, the coleslaw all the time. I trying to be the main course because I can't do the sharing vibe. I mean, I personally believe that God put enough beautiful things in one person that is good for one person. And you get to know people by asking questions. And personally for me now, if I ask you a question straight up, I look in you in your eyeball. You cannot lie to my big, beautiful brown eyes. No. No. So if infidelity happens to creep into my life, it's because I didn't look out for red flags, or I didn't, pay attention the way I should have. And I'm not going to be the one trying to be um, perpetrating an infidel type of spirit. I don't believe in that. Um, I, wow, I see it all the time. It's in our generations. It's our aunts and uncles. It's the church mother who has 10 children and 7 of them have different last names, and she's the mother of the year. Good example for the rest of the church sisters and everyone else who's coming through. So it's like, I feel like whether we want to admit it or not, it's painful to say, yeah, it's a part of our society. But for me, it's not a part of my world. I'm not going to be the one who chooses to continue that cycle. I'm about breaking these cycles, actually. So I pause there.
So we'll go back in the same order. We'll keep that. But I just wanted to jump to the comments. Scott, if there's, for those who are watching, feel free to drop your comments in. We want to hear from you. I'll go back around the panel in the same order. So that's Basil then.
Can I go last on that one?
That's no problem. Tiger, I'm it. Whew. Whether infidelity has become a norm in the 242. I will say this. We are traditionally conservative. So back in time where it may have been more taboo to have certain things because of our, deep values in the Christian faith and the importance of, folks understanding that both man and wife ought to submit one unto the other. I got to, level a playing field, because I know in our country we like to only push and preach the fact that one should be submissive to the other. But no, this whole submission thing goes both ways. But we've now kind of warped into this generational thing, whereas, okay, tit for tat. So she cheat on me, I can cheat back. Or, every once in a while, it's harmless to have fun. Or because of the fact that he hurt me, that gives me a hall pass. So when I finally get back at him, it wouldn't be no issue. However, all of that does not cure the scars that is left from the initial act. And so I wouldn't say that we have become more accepting. Madam Host, you said a phrase when you started the program, defining the outline of this program. You said it is what it is. And so that's exactly what it has become in our country. Like, okay, it is what it is. We know so-and-so been in a relationship with someone for 6, 7, 8 years, never even popped a question or get down on one knee, let alone get a ring. But we know he done have 1 or 2 children with 1 or 2 other people on the side of the road here and there along the way during that 8-year relationship. But it is what it is. And so I think we have just kind of become immune to what was once upon a time taboo. Whether that is a good thing or a bad thing, similar to how beauty is in the eye of the beholder, infidelity is in the eye of the beholder, whether it's the one who is committing the act or the one that perceives it. And I say this as someone that does not condone infidelity. I am pro leave before you cheat, heal before you deal kind of vibe. But this is where our society has evolved to. We are becoming more of a it is what it is kind of thing because of, this new cultural norm now that, okay, you do it to me, I do it back.
Okay. Now, I like those points. For me, working in so much different areas and groups of people, I feel like while I feel like infidelity is kind of a normal thing, it's when you're working, they'd be like, oh, you can't date a coworker. You could date it. It's looked down upon, but it's not outright outlawed. Like it is. They can let you do what you gotta do, but they can look at you a certain way for doing it. They can let you be. No one's gonna stop you and be like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. It's very real. Um, I know I used to meet a lot of guys at work and landscape when I did landscaping years back. And they used to be so proud talking about all these girls they meet at work. Like it was their culture of, always having another girl, to talk to. Even when I work in environments with a lot of women, they'll crack their joke, but they have their little side piece and all that stuff. And I was maybe wonder, like, a lot of people want to be, let me say it, but a lot of people want to be loved on so much different levels, but they scared to talk about it. You know, I used to tell people, I say, if you want to talk to other people, then you need to talk about it. You need to talk about that's something you want to do instead of going behind someone back. Like, let them know this is what you want to do, or this is what you need to do, but let them know why you need to do this thing. So I think, sadly, it just became it's come so commonplace where people don't really see the need to turn back from it. But I feel like we, instead of just stopping that behavior, just like cutting it off, talk about it to the point where you could say, like, okay, maybe I can have this type of relationship where I can have someone I want to talk to in a certain way and still be with you, and I let you know this is how it is. And um, I've had open relationships, and the whole thing about open relationships is consensual. Both parties know what's going on. There's no secrets or secret conversations happening and all that stuff. And it gives the person a better foot to stand on at the end of the day. They make the choice if they want to stay or not, instead of, bringing things into your relationship, bringing negative energy, bad energy, and not knowing, you know, one day you wake up angry and you don't even know why you're angry. you know, that's from your partner messing with someone else and they had a fight and that energy transferred into your relationship. And now you're all fighting and they go right back to them thinking you're all fighting because it was your relationship. Whereas you brought that in from your outside relationship. And that's not all the confusion is happening. Now, let's say, I'll give you a scenario. Let's say you did have a fight with someone outside the relationship and you go to your partner and you tell them about it. They already know y'all do. They could put up a wall and be like, okay, I understand how you feeling. That is your thing. I don't have to take that on. As opposed to you just coming home mad, you can't talk to them about it, and you carry that energy in your whole house. Everyone mad because you mad, because someone outside the house mad. You know, and I feel like it's a step to a healthy relationship. I still don't feel like people should be sleeping with whoever, whenever, and all type of stuff, all rambunctiously and sporadically, because you just don't know what you're gonna get, you know. And you should take your time. I think we need to go back to taking our time getting to know people. We don't do that anymore. We just see some nice skin, a nice shape. We want to touch that, you know. Or some of them, they see they got a lot of money, they could do whatever they want me, type of thing. We really got to take our time. Think about how we want people to look at us. If they see us out or they see us anywhere with some person in a suspect way, you have to think about our image, the image of the relationship we representing as well. We don't think about those things. We just be like, oh, yes, whatever. They can think whatever they want to think. But then that's not how the world works. People look at your track record, your reputation, things you did in the past still has come back to bite you. You know, things in the past. Everyone don't heal from things because you heal. So you have to take time and think about the decisions you make in life. And I think we really need to call the Heyman the stuff to really think about it and not just touch everything that walks. You know.
Thank you Thank you for your input, Basil. And so we'll jump to infidelity and gender. And sometimes the genders blame each other. And so we want to talk about that. Why do we tend to say, men cheat more than women or women cheat more than men? Where do we fall along these lines? Are men more inclined to cheat? Are women more inclined to cheat? I'll jump to Miss Katura, and we'll start in the same order we began with. Thank you.
Okay, so with reference to gender, I think it's easier, from my observation, it would be easier for a man to decide to cheat. Oh boy, girls, y'all don't drive me with conch shell. But some women, from my observation, have lowered their standards to the point of not having personal integrity. And there's a pride about, oh, I take her man. Oh, I can send her husband home to her. Things like that. And then men, I'm going to use this adage, well, this term, I've been hearing it floating around, that sex is so easy to get, so love is hard to find. And so if a man is not at the point of maturity to be looking for a stable, sustainable relationship, and maybe all he just wants is sex, that's easy to find. But if you're looking for a quality relationship with a woman who's looking for the same thing, that becomes kind of difficult. And so, wow, I really don't want to hang the guys upside down, but it is easier for a man to be a cheater if he wants to. The problem with women is when we do cheat, we catch feelings on another level because we're such receivers. And so if we do cheat and then feelings get bottled up, it messes us up. But men can basically drop seed and walk away. So women have got to amp up on their level of integrity and realizing, man, this body here was created in the image and likeness of God. You a queen, sister. You a queen. Walk around queening. And then you'll understand your body is not a bargaining chip for Kentucky or tennis or an outfit. And then it won't be so easy to think about being a cheater. And basically, whether you're male or female, if you're bouncing around, just allowing your feelings and your emotions and your body to be used as a tool, you're cheating your own self. I'm sorry, you didn't ask me that, but that just flowed. And in the world of poetry, you don't clap, you snap. I'm snapping at my own self. Sisters, let's amp it up. Brothers, let's amp it up. No cheating after the date.
Ooh, Katura, look here. I got to piggyback off of that. You said something that I wanted to piggyback on, and that's standards. It doesn't matter who is more inclined to, you got to have standards. Now, I know commonly, especially in our 242, it is believed that men are more inclined to cheat because men by nature, we are caught by what we see. Women are emotional. So, if they get caught in the trap, it'll be because of what they feel. However, and I'm going to defend the brothers on this here, not every man goes after everything in a skirt. There are those of us that have standards. I've been told I can be a little too bougie because I got standards. But you got to have those standards and you got to be true to yourself in order to make it in any relationship of any kind. It's like how we said earlier, you got to know yourself, love yourself, appreciate yourself before you can pour into another. So who's more inclined? That all based on that person, that personality, that preference. Yes, men, we are more driven by what we see. Women are driven more than what they feel. But I've also heard that women are smarter. Men can cheat easier. But the problem is a lot of men sometimes leave their trails uncovered. Whereas a woman, she will cover every trail. But like you say, when she catches feelings, That's when it all crumbles apart. Because when a woman cheats and gets feelings, she want to leave her hubby for the dude that she been messing around with and all of that. Whereas a man could, let's say, just for safety reasons, 7 out of 10 times could mess around with somebody else. But he knows wife at home. He ain't leaving wife for the little thing.
Man, I agree with both of you. And an important thing that came to my mind is something that has been changing recently is gender roles. We've been an age now where a lot of people, we want to say that men and women all can do the same thing. And while, yes, we can do the same thing, just because you can do something, that don't mean you should be doing it, or it's for you, or it affects you differently. We all know that men and women respond to things differently. They get stimulated by different things. Um, they're physically capable to do different things. They think differently when it comes to problem solving. All these different things show how different we are when it comes to the final results of anything we do. So it's so crazy that it is easier for men to cheat in a way if they actually could get a woman to sleep with them, because that's a factor too, because sometimes it's just the one man sleeping with all the women. Not every man is get that lucky, but it's easier for them because they don't get as attached, because men aren't anchored by sex per se, and women take sex in a emotional way. Although I know met a lot of women that would say, like, I can't have sex with that person unless they're my boyfriend or unless I'm in love with them. So it's always an emotional attachment comes to that. So while women can get sexual pleasure easily because it's coming at them, they have to be more discerning on how they give that out, because it always damages you on the inside. It damages your mental and everything. So it puts a little bit more pressure on women, I think, with cheating. They have to be very, I guess, careful, because they have a larger effect, especially with things like getting pregnant and stuff like that. You're bringing life into this world and you attaching yourself to someone who you wouldn't even, you have a one night stand and you attach to this guy who you don't even like. After you find out he is a jerk or whatever, you just like him on your drunk night because you're being someone different, while men, they just could just drop and go, but that's still effect on them because it gives them a bad reputation. And it almost, men can get trapped in a cycle where they deal with the same type of women that drag them down, and they lose focus of themselves where they don't elevate. They stop focusing on work as much. They start focusing on improving themselves, helping their family, helping their community and stuff like that. And we really have to, I think we need to go back in a sense. I know it may sound archaic, but I think we still need to go back to acknowledging that gender roles are important, because like going back to what I said, just because we can do things doesn't mean we have to do it. That's where discipline comes in, restraint. You could be good at cooking rice. Someone else can be better. Let them cook the rice. You make some salad. Do what you're great at. Do what you're better at. Do what's meant for you to do. And don't just do it out because you feel like it all the time. Because your feelings are based on emotion. They could guide you down the cliff because you want to go skydiving because you want to thrill. So you need to be careful and just think about who we are as people, where our role is in society, and where we actually want to go in the future.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And all of you raised important points. Basil, you talked about knowing who you are, and that's very important. And thought dropped out of my head a little bit, but I'm going to come back to that. But I want us to look at this video. I came across this video, and I think we both, I think all of us are kind of understanding that we can't really blame the gender and say, oh, men cheat more or women cheat more. But I just want to share this video. I came across this video and I just decided to do I just decided to take a deeper look at this video and really understand is this where this research came from with this gentleman. So let me just share this video, and I would like to get your commentary.
Which have 10 top Caribbean countries which have the most amount of cheating, and they do it by percentage. It's not my study. I'm just following off of what a study has been done, and they've done it. I don't know if it's accurate, but I will read. Comment and like and share to disagree or agree with the findings. All right, coming in at number 10, with 18% of the women in Guyana cheating. Coming in at number 9 is St. Vincent, where they say 33% of the women there cheat. Coming in at number 8, Grenada, with 41% of the women there cheating. Coming in at number 7, it's Trinidad and Tobago, where they say 53% of the women in Trinidad and Tobago cheat. Coming in at number 6 is Barbados, where they say 56% of the women in Barbados cheat. All right, we on a roll. Coming in at number 5, we have Bahamas, where they say 58% of the women in Bahamas cheat. Coming in at a study have been done shortly.
Okay, so what do you guys think of the video and of them pinning 58% of our women as cheaters?
That's believable. That's believable.
You believe that?
Man, I have a colorful past, and I've had friends who I watch just.
You friends as in female friends?
Yeah, and people who I just know when I watch them, they have someone, and you could see them like they talking to someone else or they talking to multiple people, and they have like sexual relationships with them, and it's be like, it's like they just do when they're bored, or you can tell they have an unhappy relationship. It has blown my mind sometimes when I see it in person, because I'm like, wow, you're cold. So it's like, and they'll have like, they make the jokes about the guys, the women who have like, your name is food, this one is Pizza Hut, this one is light bill type, like that has happened. And it's mind-blowing how that has happened too, but it's crazy.
Okay. All right, let's hear from our other panelists. Thank you, Basil.
I gotta say, at 58, that cut me deep. No, don't do it to the 242 sisters. Don't do it. Take 10, 15 points off that, man. They lie. Wow. But when you get down to it, you have to define what cheating is, because you might, like, for example, let me use me as an example. I had a guy friend who I became close to, and his best friend, so he said, was female. And so whereas they could relate and talk and everything, I was just learning myself, just growing into the real Katura. I didn't understand how to communicate properly to a man. And so I always accuse him of cheating, because when I looking for you and I finally ready to open up and talk to you, baby, you around your female best friend. And to me, that hurt, because she and he had history. So they did the going for lunch and the day at the beach and stuff. I'm like, look, you trying to make me look like the side thing. This don't feel like as if you loyal to me. It don't look like you really want me. So since you more loyal to her, you go ahead on with her. And since you say you ain't cheating, okay, I believe you. That's all right. But maybe this just isn't for me, because I can't do the three-way calling thing. I can't do that. So yeah, I don't agree. But Maud could say anything. If these people took a survey and that's what they came up with, you know what I say? Survey again, Sam. Survey again. Let's do the survey all over. Let's try it all over again. No, man, don't do that. Not to the 242 sisters. I protest. And now I
Couture, you say
digress.
no. It can't be that high. That percentage can't be that high. I'm gonna get right back to you, Couture, but I want to get to our comments. I'm so sorry I missed these ones. Andrew is saying powerful. He says we as men, well, for me, we want to be in a faithful and committed relationship, but the problem is that some women are too thingsy. They like things, and all they want is stuff. So that's one example of why men cheat. Okay, this comment is I gotta open up this comment some more. But I want to recognize Monica. Hi, Monica. Thank you for joining us. So let's hear your comments. I'm gonna, because he had some more. This comment is cut off. I have to get back to this. I'm gonna get right back to this comment, but we'll jump to you, Mr. Keys.
All I can say is not our good Bahamian Christian women of the 242. 58%? Like, I really need to find out who is the source, what is the source, what was the sample size of the women surveyed. I don't know. Like, while I know we are in a more modern and liberal society, I just can't fathom that 58% of our good Bahamian women. And yes, I am coming
Basil
off
is
as a
saying that he
nationalist.
knows some ladies who feel comfortable having a man to pay the water bill, a man to pay the light bill, a man to do this and take them out to eat. Basil know these girls. So what are you saying?
Look, and this is where I am coming in on this. While I understand, there are some ladies that's about the maintenance fee, and I'm not taking a job at the talented artist with that song, right? But all I'm saying is, if this survey is fact that 58% of these good Bahamian women are cheating, I'm afraid of what the survey will say about the Bahamian brothers, because, in our society, we truly believe that men cheat more than women. So, man, look here. We got to stand up for the women of the 242 and defend this cause, because I don't believe that the world can mark the man of barbarian in this regard.
That's it. Survey the man, but be fair in the 242.
I mean, I think it's fair, I mean, yeah, the survey is on women. I feel like it's for the same for the men and women, 50% is a lot, but it's still 50% of that is not cheating, So you got to think of it like that. It's still a big number of people, so you can't be surprised. I know plenty of women who would never cheat as well. I know plenty faithful women. I don't think of it as all women cheat or all men cheat, if a man could get a woman sometimes. But, it's different circumstances. But all I mean by that's why I have to tell people, don't beat everyone with the same stick. Get to know the person, but don't beat them with the stick just because they're a woman or just because they're a man. Just today, I found someone that's like, all man is lying. I was like, who do something to you? But, that's another story.
All right.
No,
I think
bro, I'm with you on that.
Go ahead. You support him.
Yeah, no, I'm good. No, I was saying I'm sorry about that, but yeah, like I'm with you on that, right? It doesn't mean that all are within that bracket of folks that are unfaithful. But all I'm saying is, if it's alarming to me that if this is fact, that 58%, which means that, okay, 42% are not, they're going to say, okay, Bahamian men are more inclined to cheat because, like this gentleman, there are others who would have taken their surveys of the top 10 number of cheaters in the Bahamas by whatever ranks, whether they think, okay, if you work for law enforcement, you're automatically this, or if you live on a certain island or from a certain island, then you automatically do that. So that means that it is believed that 58% of the women, they're going to say, okay, yeah, at least close to 80% of Bahamian men got to be dogging around because it's 58% of women. So that's why I say, yeah, we got to dig through this with a more fine tune comb.
All right. So this brings us to our fast talk segment. We are trying to figure out how do we are men more inclined or women more inclined, but at the end of the day, we do live in a society where cheating is part of the norm. It's a part of the norm. Okay, so this brings us to our fast talk segment. We have 60 seconds to get through each of these questions. And so I will present each question to you. I think Katura would have dropped. So I'm going to get through these questions. You have 60 seconds. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Keys. Okay, first question. Would you accept, so with each of these questions, we'll let you go first, Mr. Keys, and then Basil, so we'll keep that same rotation. So, will you accept someone who has previously been unfaithful to you?
For me, it would be based on the circumstance. Like if it was maybe just an error of judgment, or maybe somewhere where I was lacking in terms of maybe me not being there emotionally for her or me not supporting her in any kind of way, maybe. But if you just was like, okay, I'm a grown woman, I want to have a little thrill into what I want to do, by all means, like the benediction say, go in peace and do what you got to do.
Okay, Basil.
For me, out of docs, a couple important questions. How it happened, why it happened, when it happened. Because you need to know how far back that happened. It could probably be so far back where they was young and they didn't know better. And they're a whole different character now, and getting to know them to find out what the character is. So it really depends on who they are, getting to know them.
Okay. Does infidelity signal the end of the relationship for you?
Does it signal the end? I'd say no. Is it a test? Quite a big one. Quite a big test, a big challenge, a big hurdle to get over. But I believe that if both parties, both me and her, are willing to invest in this further, fight for this, and do what we have to do to salvage the relationship, then no. A season of infidelity or a trial of infidelity does not have to signal or highlight the end of a relationship.
I agree. I wouldn't say it would be ended right away. There'll be circumstances where it might, like let's say they sleep with your brother or a family member. You should probably end that right there, But if it's because of you not treating them right or not communicating, you could definitely work that out. Like if it's fixable through communication, yeah.
Wow, you are some very forgiving men. Okay. Does cheating on someone who cheated on you, getting your lick back, resolve the issue of infidelity?
Karma, karma is a serious woman. No, I don't think getting back at somebody justifies you stepping out. You getting a hall pass doesn't. In Christianity, the principle is that love keeps record of no wrongdoing. So if you truly say you love that person, no matter what, come what may, through hell or high water, then you shouldn't be keeping record of the wrongdoing. Okay, he ain't buy me lunch today, so that gives me reason to step out. Or she ain't give me none last night, so you know what? Tonight I going out with the boys and we going on a little mission. Or he ain't come support me at my book signing, so you know what? I ain't getting him none tonight. Like, no. If you truly care about that person, then there should be no record of any wrongdoing, no tit for tat. So if somebody do you wrong and it's in your heart to forgive them, forgive them. If you can't, then move on and be great by yourself.
I agree. I can tell you one thing. One thing you should never do in a relationship is hold on to wrongs, because they only build up. They don't ever go away. No matter what you do, you will always feel that. Sometimes That's why they be like forgive and let go. You know, and like I say, karma is a serious thing. Them cheating on you might have been karma on you from doing something in the past. So that ain't even you getting your lick back. That's you adding to your karma. You know, so you should really be careful. Like, don't revenge is never satisfying. You know, unless you're a very evil, vindictive person, you should never seek out revenge. You should seek out why it happened and see how you can fix it, or be like, hey, we have to break this off, and you know, we can be cool or whatever, but you know, this ain't gonna work as a relationship. You know.
Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of our Fast Talk segment. And I want to thank you guys for giving your input. You seem to be very forgiving, and that's definitely honorable. So thank you for sharing those thoughts with us. So I want to get to Monica's comment. She says that women get bashed for cheating, men get glorified for cheating. Is this true?
You know what? Yeah, it is true. And you know why I think that's the case? I think that has to do with nature. I'm not saying it's right, but men men praise each other for it. I guess from growing up, you know, they'd be like, from early age, you know, they'd be like, you have a girlfriend yet? All this type of stuff, and it's really, it's really a lot. Like men almost grow up thinking they have to get a lot of women, you know, and but having sharing your body so much shows more on a woman than it would on a guy, and it has a more lasting effect if something happens like getting pregnant, you know. So that's like your permanent evidence that something happened, you know, if you were cheating and that happened, you know. So, and you know, in Bahamas, you'd be like, oh, you having baby out of wedlock and all that stuff. They used to be mad about that stuff. You know, nowadays, if they lighten up on it, if they see you've been in a relationship with someone, but you know, sometimes your daddy ain't your daddy, you know, but he don't know that, you know. So a lot of different things now.
Thank you, Basil, for that insight. Mr. Keys, I want to bring you Andrew's comment. He says cheating is wrong. Sweethearting with a married person is just dangerous. What are your thoughts?
Woo! He hit the nail right on the head with that. Messing with anybody who's already committed their vows is like walking on worse than thin ice. Worse than thin ice in my view. If you do not want to place a curse on yourself, whether it's a mental curse, an emotional curse, a financial curse, most importantly, a spiritual curse, don't get yourself tied up with somebody that's already tied to somebody else. To piggyback off
Well, what
the
if they say
previous
I'm separated? We're not married. I'm separated. I'm going through a divorce.
buddy, wait until them divorce papers finalized, in my view. And I say this in all aspects because what if, you know, so and so decides she wants to salvage her marriage? And what if she wants to go back, right? At the end of the day, you're left in the dark because you have no right spiritually or legally to this person. That person is already tied to somebody else. And so, while to piggyback off the earlier comment, while that may be seen as, yo, I got a married chick, like that's a rite of passage, all you're doing is just causing more turmoil and harm on yourself. And especially in today's day and age and in the society that we're in, let's stay safe, eh? Let's stay away from the married folks, and that's both men and women. It's just not safe altogether. And if you'll allow me to, just to piggyback off the previous comment as well too, while it's in the nature, because men, we go by rites of passage, and while it's more acceptable depending on the culture, because for example, in the DR, a woman having multiple partners is considered as her being grown as well. Whereas in countries like ours and others where we're more conservative, it would be considered taboo, and you know, women with high body counts is considered like like to be shunned upon because we promote women being wholesome and pure, whereas a man, is okay and it's allotted to being as a conquest. So I guess that's why, yeah, men are kind of more like glorified for conquering their conquests and that kind of thing. But no, Andrew, I with you on that 100%. Yeah, stay away from the married folks.
Thank you for your input. And so we've come to the end of our session, but I just wanted to jump back to you guys to see if you have any other commentary you would like to add before we close. I'll start with Basil and then come to you, Mr. Keys.
I'll say this. Relationships ain't gonna be easy. It don't matter how great you may get along. You can always have conflicts. Conflicts will make you stronger. So if you bow at the first sign of conflict, you're not giving your time to strengthen yourself. When you work out, you break down your muscles so that they become back stronger, and that's, you have to work your relationship muscles. You have to be able to talk, you have to be able to, take some lashes. The person who you with is supposed to be like your best friend. That means they just know things about you that can hurt you, but they also there to challenge you to be better, to overcome those things that make you feel insecure, overcome all those things that, just hurt. You wouldn't give a stranger something to hurt you. They're not there to make you stronger, and it doesn't make sense just giving someone, what you call it, touchy knowledge about you, and, they can't help you with it. They can't push you forward. Now, I'm not saying they should try to hurt you on purpose, but your best friend should be a reflection of like being better, complementary to each other. There should be contrasts and similarities, and it's all to live longer together and be happy together. I've been through so much different things in my past like 5 years in this relationship, and I can say who I was when I started this, I have come such a long way. Even just past last year, so much has changed, and it gave me a better focus and to be a better man. Because my mind was all over the place. I was doing everything, anything I wanted to do under the sun, and then it just a moment come and hit me and just be like, all right, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. This is what I need to do to get where I need to go in life. And then comes the discipline. So yeah, just stay focused. Don't run at every side of conflict.
Thank you so much. Mr. Keys?
First and foremost, thanks for allowing all of us as your fellow panelists to join you on this hot topic during this ideal time on the month of love. Yes, while we had to highlight love, it was also important that we highlight this aspect on the relationship series of things. To my fellow commentator, my brother, I wish you well. 5 years, that's deep. All the best to you in your future endeavors. I will say this to kind of wrap it up. Just know yourself, be true to yourself, love yourself. This is coming as a bachelor that is just thrilled to have a renewed sense of purpose, even in the midst of singleness. And the only way you will have a sense of purpose, even in your season of singleness, is if you truly know yourself, you understand yourself, you love yourself, and you are at peace with yourself and you're true to yourself. You won't be able to pour into another until you are at that place of total self-discovery. And to piggyback of what Basil and Couture Soul and myself have been saying throughout, heal before you deal. If you know you're not at that place where you are totally at peace with whatever happened in the past, whether it's past hurts, past infidelities, past disappointments, do not carry junk into a new relationship. Let it go. You want to enter into a new season with a completely new slate. And most importantly, when you get to that point, definitely ensure that there's clarity, no room for ambiguity, and set those boundaries. And finally, like one of my good spiritual leaders said to me some years back, infidelity is a choice. It is possible to stay faithful. So whether you may have been the one that was the transgressor or the one that were on the receiving end of being cheated on, just know that infidelity is a choice. It is possible to be faithful. So, all men aren't dogs or all women ain't no good. We are all human beings with the power of free will and free choice. And so what we do with that choice is totally up to us.
Thank you. Thank you for adding those final comments in. And thank you for joining us today for sharing on this topic. Can we talk infidelity? And this brings us to the end of our session. And thank you for tuning in and joining us. For those who would have been on the platform with us, I would like to thank our guests for sharing their insight today. And we want to remind you, if you want to advertise with us, let us know. You can also reach out to us on our page. Our contacts are there. We want to grow. So grow with us. To those watching via social media, thank you. Thank you for listening in. Like our page and future notifications, share this video, comment under this video, let us know your thoughts. Thank you, Monica, Andrew, for those who would have joined us and give their comments. Thank you so much. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Can We Talk? Follow us on Instagram and Twitter using the addresses provided on our page. We're on TikTok. We're on various social media platforms. Thank you, Artificial Homegrown, for sharing with us as well, for joining us today as well. And again, thank you, panelists, for your time. Some of you came from different places, came from work, just to share with us today. So we're very grateful for you. Thank you, Basil. Thank you, Mr. Keys. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. It was great.
Thank you.
And so with that, we've come to the end of our session. Remember, let's think, talk, do. Thank you.